Wonderful. Welcome everyone to the No Wallet Demo 30s. It's our third anniversary for the demos, so I'm really excited. Today we have lots of things to review, so let's begin. Our first thing we're going to discuss is basically a recent update which allows people to update faster, or at least to get information about updates which are available or maybe sometimes are critical to update. The second one will be now the demo for the Agile delegation. So we took a preview on the previous demo for Agile delegations, like why we're going to develop this functionality and all that stuff. But today we're going to have a hands-on demo on first features that are already available in internal builds of No Wallet, and we'll see what's coming next. And the last one is, of course, the roadmap. What are we working on right now, and what we will do in the future. So let's start. Yes, as usual, you can take a look on these slides. As soon as we publish these recordings on the YouTube, you can find the slides in the description. You can join all our social medias listed in description, or you can just scan this QR code to get access to all the social media links. And let's start. Let's start with in-app updates notifications, which was the main topic of the previous release. So the goal of this feature is, or actually the backstory of this feature is basically that we have noticed that lots of users were not updating their application as soon as the update is available, which makes sense. It's a common thing for the mobile users to not update their app immediately, or even if the after update so-called feature in App Store and Google Play is enabled, there are still some delays, which resulted in such environment like the blockchain environment resulted in a situation that we are living in a fast changing world, right? And whenever the blockchain got updated, or maybe we have found some critical issue into the app, we need to move fast. We need to deliver the update, and we need to make sure that our users update it to the latest version. So that's the part of the story. And the second part of the story, that even if there is no like broken feature into the Nova, or there are no breaking changes on the blockchain, still we would like to tell our users how much more we have developed into the Nova, into the new versions, and they don't get it yet. So they don't have this all juicy updates installed. So we would like to notify them as soon as it will be available. So that being said, it brings us to a situation that we will have now 2 notifications as soon as the user opens the app. If we have some major update which brings like significant features into the Nova, then the user will see basically the screen and they can easily skip it, or they can install the update right away. Or if there is some critical update available, let's say something was changed on the blockchain level and now No Wallet cannot calculate the fees, which was the case a while ago, then the user will be notified and they will have this call to action, understanding that, hey, I need to update the app, therefore my operations will be stable and reliable. So that's really crucial for our standpoint, right? So that we now for sure know that basically our users will have this information and will just understand what's going on. So that was main topic for basically the previous release. Let me also go and show you the feature on the emulator, how it looks like, and let me check the chat. Yeah, of course, our most active users are always receiving updates at first, like on the day that they were released. But the statistics which Apple and Google Play providing you, it basically says that like 50% of the users, they getting the updates only after 1 week, and the rest is basically like up to 9 months. So there was like stories like whenever I visit the conferences, people came to me like showing the No Wallet and was a version which is like 9 months old. So it happens. So let's see how it works. So I just opened my No Wallet, I entered my PIN code, and now the Nova will tell me that basically the critical update is available, right? So that's how it looks like. We can have a preview like what's going on, what update is that. Sorry, my cat is making noises. Users can take a look on the changelog available, so they can get acknowledged regarding the update. And also they can see all updates which were basically not installed yet on the user device. So they can get access to all this information. And we can have this text, like you can see which update was critical, which update was kind of the major one, which update was a regular one. And of course, the top one is marked as the latest. So interesting thing that if it is a major update, then as soon as the user will press the skip button, it will mean that basically a user will not see the screen appearing every time they just launch the app if they have not updated to basically the major update. But if the user will skip the critical update, that message will appear every time until they will update, because we will basically configure these notifications in a way that if it is really critical for user to update, then we will raise these notifications, so that just to remind them that, hey, there is something going on. You for sure need to update your application. But once again, for the major updates, if they press skip, they will not see any notifications as soon as either any new major update will be released and the new notification will be sent, or there will be a critical update now. And in this case, yeah, it will be highly recommended to update. So no word will be really annoying in this case to notify about the updates. So let's come back to our demo, to the slide, sorry. Agile delegations. So Agile delegations is something what we are working on right now, full force. And the reason is that first, we would like to emphasize on really these brand new features in the direction that Polkadot and Kusama are providing, right? To focus on like a democracy and decentralization. And if you think about it, and if you will compare like how decision-making mechanism is done in our system in the Polkadot and Kusama, you will understand that by comparing it with other blockchains and other like decentralized systems, you will often find that the mechanism itself to apply the changes to the blockchain, it's highly centralized, right? And at most, what you can find in other ecosystems is basically that the voting for these changes is done kind of in a decentralized way, but usually not on the blockchain level. So something like off-chain, right? Which is basically can tell you that the data can be forged and so on, right? And only in the Polkadot, at least to my knowledge, the governance mechanism and the way how you can apply the changes to the code base of the blockchain itself is basically, you can name it like fully decentralized, especially with the OpenGov taking place. And the Agile delegations is another important piece to this mechanism, because it allows you to basically spice the game up, right? It allows you to introduce the people delegating their voting to other accounts, so that these accounts can have more voting power in the decision making. So for the Agile delegations, we have planned the following features that you can see on the screen. Basically, what has been done so far in internal build is that you can create delegation, you can view your delegations, you can view what your delegations or delegates have voted for, and you can view the list of accounts available for delegation, right? So you can view the list of all delegate accounts. What we will do in the future is basically to complete all the scope of work, besides like a testing and refining the features, is remove delegation and the edit delegation, so that once you create a delegation, you can also modify your state as a delegator. So let's take a look on the features right now. So let me check the chat first. Yeah, I mean, don't be bothered about how little we have like a delegates right now into the internal system. We are just developing it, right? Also, don't mind if something will be not working, because this is like work in progress results. But anyway, we are planning to launch the campaign to promote delegates to tell basically community about themselves. And for example, whenever you will go to the user interface, I probably need to select some account, like probably this one, without any delegation created. So let's see. If my emulator will work well, at least. Give me a second. I will restart. So what I was trying to say is that basically we're going to launch the campaign in order to all delegates to come to our GitHub and publish the information about themselves so that they can attract the more delegations, right? So for the user, that will be basically as soon as they see the new feature for the delegation, that will be displayed in a way that basically they can whenever they try to create a delegation, they will see this badge, which will lead you to the portal where you can submit this information. So here on the screen for the adding delegation, you can have this like a highlight that if you would like to submit your information, then please visit this portal. And that portal leads us to the Know World Wiki page, which describes all the process. So you can easily tell the Nova what should be displayed so that any user that will try to do the delegation, they can get acknowledged with you. They can understand your voting strategy, your biography, and whatever information you would like them to see. So, for example, like in my case, whenever we go to me as a delegate, you can see that I decided to put information like a short one about myself, like a short biography. Then there might be like a voting strategy. So a delegate can describe what are the core values that they take into the account whenever they do the voting, right? So what they respect, what they do not respect, how often they vote, and all that's details they might provide, right? Also, it's kind of interesting that some delegates might come up with some bonuses or additional motivations to attract delegations. So let's say, just for the sake of the joke, I wrote here that each month I'm going to mint and send NFT with my cat to each of my delegators, right? So yeah, that can be an option. Others, let's say validators, they might do any other incentives. So who knows? That will be a really innovative feature, like something new in the ecosystem, and that should bring more activity and traction to the governance, because lots of people got interested into the voting mechanism as soon as we introduced it into the Nova. Like lots of users came to our community channels and told like, hey, I just studied what happened with Kusama for 2 years, and it was kind of interesting, like browsing through this history. But at the same time, it takes a lot of time and effort to follow up with all these referendums going on a daily basis and also make a weight decision. So we have a situation that people would like to contribute to the ecosystem, but at the same time, they simply don't have enough time for this, right? So a delegation would be a solution. So you as a user who would like to contribute to the ecosystem or to the network, that you are interested in and that you kind of like invested with your time and effort in, right? You would like to basically delegate now to the person or to the organization that has aligned interest. Sorry, I just stopped the sharing screen. That have the same interests that you do, right? So that is basically the idea behind the delegation and why it can be really interesting and a new feature for any user to consider, right? So we just took a look how people can describe themselves as the delegates, how they can publish this information. We're going to provide more details, describe it in like a more structured way, and do this information campaign so across our social media sources so that more people can publish information about themselves, right? But this is the idea and the concept. And we believe that, yeah, it should highly increase the activity in the governance. So let me, with how many clicks can I delegate in the final design? I think, let's see, basically, if my emulator will not betray me once again, right? So let's try again to go to an empty account. Yes, this one. So this is my voting screen. So first we're going to add delegation. Then we see all the delegates. So let's see, we want to delegate to the Chaos DAO, right? So we just click one, add delegation. Chaos DAO, we have some information, and we have the add delegation button, so it's 2 and 3. Now we have a tracks. I assume that most of the people will just go and select all the tracks, right? So that will do this job. So it's 4, 5, and then we have this information regarding like amount or like how many votes they would like to delegate. So let's say it's 6. And then the confirmation. So the flow itself in Eclipse might be like multiple because you need to set up different things like the voting. But I think that's fairly a quick way to delegate because you just need to set up it, and yeah, that's here you go, basically. And also we try to reuse the same approach with the voting so that our users who got familiar with governance already can see how it works. So yeah, I hope that addressed this question, because it's not only about the speed, let's say, right, or how fast you can do this. We need to also make sure that everything is basically clear for the user what they're doing, right? So they know the organization or the individual to which they're delegating, and they understand these tracks. Also, talking regarding the tracks, there might be some corner cases, which I can display you in a second. Like in this case, if I go to my delegations, and if I will try to, yeah, you can see that my delegations is already existing for the Chaos DAO in a Treasury Small Tips track, right? For example. But if I will go and try to add new delegation, let's say to this fellow, or let's click, let's say for the paradox. Let's add delegation. So what is happening here? And it is really important. The thing is, and that's to address like the trade-off with the speed and the education for the user. So whenever user has voted by themselves to any of the tracks, to any of the referendum in any tracks, they basically cannot delegate at the same track. Even if voting for this referendum in this track is completed, they need to call specific operation on the blockchain, which is removing the votes from this referendum, and only after that you can delegate in this track. So no one will notify you about this, so you can remove your votes or you can skip it. So let's skip it. And also, if you have delegated already, just like you saw it with the Chaos DAO, right? You will see that this track is not available for the new delegation, right? This is very important. And what is left is basically the following tracks on the screen, right? So this is highly important so that user will understand what's going on with this, right? And we try to do it in the most simple way according to all these flows, like add delegation, edit, and remove delegation. All right, so let's do the delegation to the main agenda, because I trust the paradox vision. I mean, my vision is pretty aligned with his. So let's do something like this. We will delegate to him 10 Kusamas with a 2 conviction, which results in 20 votes. And let's confirm it. So the node is building the transaction, signing it, and sending it to the blockchain. And now we're going back to our screen with your delegation. And now we see that this list is updated. And we have now Paradox as our second delegate. And eventually, when if delegation is free every 24 hours, and notification should be added also, stating this to educate. I'm not sure that I got this point. Could you please elaborate while I'm moving forward to the next topic in the demo? So as soon as we started to delegate, basically, to the delegates, right? It's highly interesting what is going on, right? How they vote. And for this, let me switch to another wallet. And for this, let me quickly find the address. But the story is that you should be able to see basically for every referendum that your delegate is voting, you should be able to see how they voted, right? With how many tokens, with what conviction, and basically in what favor, like aye or nay. So this is also really important. Let me see. All right, I see the update in chat. If this is the case, then this info should be added. Something like this is free for you. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, this is something what we will consider to iterate, right? For now, we are studying this opportunity. But yeah, basically, you can tell that to the blockchain that, hey, anyone can take my votes, but you will have to pay the commission to grab it so that you can use these votes, if I understand correctly in the chat. So let me prepare the new wallet. This. And we will start. Yes, I feel sorry that the emulator now is also behaving not well. So I will need to switch back to the slides, unfortunately. And we will postpone the demo of remaining features later on. I'm sorry, I promise that I will fix the issues, but the issues gone before the demo and now they appeared once again. So let's come back to the slides. But basically, in Nova, you would be able to see in the referendums that how your delegates has voted on each of the referendum. And also you can see that like going into the details, you can see all the referendums and again, their vote. So you can judge your delegation, you can change your delegation according to this information, or you can, basically just track this. All right, so for the roadmap, the delegations are the final piece of our current Polkadot Treasury grant, in addition with our staking adjustments. And we're going to also work together with the Moonbeam Treasury on adding more EVM-based features such as NFTs, ledger integrations, party signer integration for the hardware wallets. So that is what is coming. And overall, our focus for this year would be to improve the staking in the Nova. So you can expect this part of feature to have lots of new stuff being added towards this year. So that would be it for the roadmap and what we are working on right now. So let me check the chat one more time. A bit of off-topic question. I don't remember. Are you planning to include a section tab for fellowship members to be able to vote on fellowship proposal? Is this something included in the scope of work for Nova? Well, not at now. We would like to, at least for the next feature theme, to switch from the governance, because we believe that we have been developing governance-related features for quite a while now. And we would like to switch to the staking, at least to focus our efforts in this area. However, we would like to also allocate more time in the different directions, such as multi-sigs, proxies into the Nova, right? And we see that there might be some room for improvements for the governance features as well. Does that work for OpenGov? Thought you could use accounts page governor one. See, I think I'm not. There's too many discussion in the chat, so I need to catch up. It's available on accounts page. Yes. Yeah. There is interesting discussion regarding the governance. All right. So regarding the Nova and the demo today, once again, I'm sorry for the emulator. Let me try once again, actually, before we proceed, and maybe I would be able to show it to you. All right, we can demo actually one interesting feature which we have not seen yet. So in a delegate, right, whenever you want to add new delegation or you want to review your existing delegates, you can go to the details, like to details of each delegate, but also before going, you can sort this list whatever in a way that you like. Like by default, we sort by the delegations amount. So you can see that Chaos DAO is above that this gentleman. And those two basically on top because they have additional information. Now below, there are accounts that do not have any additional information. So from the user perspective, they not know much about them. So it really motivates people to tell more about themselves so that all Nova users and maybe other applications will have this functionality as well, will basically describe themselves. But in any case, you can sort this list in a way you like. You can show only organizations, for example, if you're interested in it, or only individuals, in again, if you're interested in it. And as soon as you go into the details of certain delegate, let's say, let's open this gentleman, you can see the delegation statistics, right? So how many votes accumulated to this account, right? And we see that it's 26,000 across all the tracks. We can see who are the delegators, right? So we can see the list of account, their conviction, and all that stuff. We also can see like the dynamic, how were they active for last 30 days, and we can see all the referendum which they voted for the 30 days, and as well we can see all referendums voted in a lifetime, and again how they voted. So you can see like what was the direction of a vote and what was the vote itself, which is kind of interesting because you can, before delegating to somebody, you can basically understand and study this, right? And yeah, you can make a decision based on those, and you can make a decision after some time to remove your delegation from this delegate if that doesn't align with your vision of voting. So this is really interesting. And the same information is going to be visible on your main screen. So here, you don't need to go through this all path. It will be like on your main page. So you can just occasionally open Nova and you can see how basically you or your votes are utilized through your delegates, which is kind of cool. So that would be it for today. Are there any questions? Let me study the chat. Yeah, delegation leaderboard. It kind of works in this way by default, because as soon as the people open the add delegation screen, right, that would be sorted by the delegations amount. And the reason is that basically you can find accounts here. If you will sort in the way like delegated votes, you can see that some accounts has a lot of votes, but they have just one delegator delegated in their favor, right? So we decided that it would be more interesting to represent by default, sorting by the amount of delegation, so how many accounts, which is, yeah, also has its own disadvantages. Like it can be like one person creating multiple accounts, but in this case, they are paying existential deposit and all these fees. Anyways, by default, it works pretty much fine, especially taking into account that we will have this people who submitted their information, who are really interested in accepting delegations, sorted by default on top. All right. So I guess if there are no questions in the chat left, that will be it from our side. Again, I will make all efforts to fix the emulator issues. I'm very sorry to my team because they worked really hard to deliver all these features. Well, we showed most of them pretty much. So it's still great. But besides that, thank you everyone for participating to the demo. Enjoy the rest of the Friday and the weekend. And I see you in 2 weeks. Bye.